Love that tune. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is What's Next for Friday, August 14th. I'm Mark, along with Bill and Laura. Bill, as you can see, is back from his mini vacation. And, Bill, I have to admit that last week, Laura and I talked about you. We were thrilled that you and your family were able to get away, but we both acknowledged that I guess we're not as bold as you. We're not yet ready to get in a plane and travel unless it's an emergency. So you seem to be healthy. I know you had a great time. Were you worried at all?
Every minute. And it's funny you said that. When you said that you and Laura talked last week about me, I thought you were going to say how good the show went while I was gone.
Well, that too.
Come on. So yeah, I mean, it's a great point. You know what did it, Mark? You know what kind of pushed us over? And I'm all nervous and cautious, as is my wife. But the airfares are unbelievable now, and with good reason in some cases. So we thought about it. I mean, it was almost too good to resist. And our next door neighbor is a peds ICU nurse. And she goes, no, I make these masks. And they're 3 layers of cotton, and there's a pocket in there where she puts this medical grade, I don't know, she said it's like almost N95. So, I mean, it kind of looked like, almost wearing a big thing of underwear over our faces, but we didn't care. And the plane was about half full. So it was almost like every other row. So it was just me and Mary. And so on the plane, they make a big point to say it's like as clean as a surgical operating room. So who knows? But yeah, I know you got to get away. I mean, mental health, getting a break. I mean, it made such a big difference for us.
Well, let me say this, because Laura and I talk about this often. She's afraid to go out. She rides her bike. She goes to the beach. She does those kinds of things. But Laura, based upon your hair this morning, because I know you obsess about your hair every show, you have been out of the house recently.
Yeah, you caught me. I went to the salon last night for the first time since February. And I have to tell you, it was okay. She was really organized. I would go back. I was the only one in the room. She had masks. She had wipes. She had everything. We both wore masks. And I'll go back.
Well, tell her great job. We got a great show, folks. So let's move on, because we've got an interview coming up that we're really excited to share. We're going to talk to Arlinda McIntosh, who is the creative director and the founder of the Sophistafunk fashion label. Her story is fascinating, as fascinating as her fashion, to be honest with you. We're going to learn how she started designing custom pieces for artists like Lauryn Hill, Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, and many others, and how in her 60s, her sales more than doubled when she turned the camera on herself and began modeling her fashions on Instagram, becoming an Instagram influencer. We've been chatting with her backstage, if you will, for a while. She's delightful, and you guys are going to enjoy that. For now, though, let's talk tattoos very briefly. I've never seen one on either of you. Do either of you have a tattoo? And if you do, Bill, I don't want to see it.
Well, you're not the only one, and I'll never tell.
I think about getting one, but they can't do what I want yet, which is like a gold Sharpie kind of translucent, glittery kind of ink. They don't have that yet. I've been researching. When they have that, I will get a tattoo.
I'd like to get one. I just have never landed on something that I didn't think at some point I would regret. But a little tattoo on my wrist or something, I'm up for that. We bring all this up, folks, because we were inspired by a 103-year-old woman this week by the name of Dorothy Pollock. She's a great grandmother from Michigan. She's been locked down in a nursing home during the pandemic, as many have been. They finally let her out for a little while, and she headed straight to the tattoo parlor because it was on her bucket list. She's wanted a tattoo for decades.
And what I love about Dorothy is she got this frog tattoo in honor of the one thing that she says she likes more than beer and burgers. And guess what she did after the tattoo? This just kills me.
No idea.
There was another thing on her list: to ride a motorcycle. So Dorothy, keep it going, lady. You are fantastic.
You want to hear something kind of interesting, Mark? I'm sorry to jump in on that, but it just reminded me. This is the week of Sturgis, right? The big motorcycle rally. And where's the other big motorcycle rally? It's in Daytona Beach, which is right near where Mark and I are. And when we were with the local TV news station, we covered that all the time. every year the bikers would go to a retirement home and take any of the residents on the back of their motorcycles for rides around the block. And I did several stories on that. And you would think that, oh my God, I would never let my parents do that, or how unsafe. The joy that these people got from something so simple, just having a little attention, is something I'll never forget. So good for her for the tattoo, if that's what she wants to do, and for the motorcycle ride.
And good for you, Bill, for bringing that up, because I think that is a common misconception that people have about bikers. You're truly one of the most philanthropic groups that are out there. They support a lot of charities. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I can also, I almost edited myself out here, but tattoos for me, no. A TSA, I went through TSA and I forgot to take my belt off. And the guy goes, well, listen, take the belt off and pull your pants up as high as you can, because I got to pat you down there. So trying to help, I kind of lifted my shirt so he could do that. And I kind of exposed like my stomach, and he stopped. And this is the motto for me in tattoos. The guy looked at me and he goes, pull that down. Nobody wants to see that.
Come on, he did not.
Oh, my wife's been laughing about that ever since.
All right, let's move on from tattoos before we all get in trouble.
Tattoos. Are we going to talk now? Is it Gordon Lightfoot time?
It is Gordon Lightfoot time.
Oh my God, dude, I hope everybody saw this. And if not, this is why we're bringing it back up, because this is something amazing that happened on Canada Day, which is July 1st in Canada, where they celebrate when the three provinces came together. They had to do it virtually like everybody else is doing. And they had online speakers and presenters and entertainers. But the one thing that stole the show and went viral was the performance of an 81-year-old who we know. It was Gordon Lightfoot, and you'll remember some of his songs. He stepped out in front of his house, and it was just this man and his guitar, and this is what he did.
If you could read my mind, Lord, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well. A castle dark or a fortress strong with chains upon my feet. You know that ghost is me, and I will never be set free as long as I'm a ghost you can't see.
So there's something about him, guys. Do you know what it is? Something about him.
I think it's this contradiction of this powerful presence, yet he's so gentle at the same time. He's a captivating performer. In 2012, he was put into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and that is the music event of the year. If you want to go anywhere, it's that. Everyone is at that, performers, songwriters. He took to the stage, sang that song, and we wept, we screamed, we shouted. He is just so candid and sincere. That was a beautiful performance, very emotional.
And Jimmy Webb writes songs that are described as absolutely timeless. If you could read my mind, Gordon Lightfoot wrote that in 1970. That's 50 years ago. And still, I bet if you played it for anybody who'd never heard it before, they'd be all into it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, but also, a little bit heartbreaking. And I think people can relate to this in all kinds, because at 81 years old, as you said, Bill, he was touring. He still loved to tour. He still was able to tour. He still was able to put people in the seats. And all of that was taken away, as it was from all performers during the pandemic. And when you're 81 years old, as he is, I think you begin to think, and understandably so, maybe it's over.
Yeah, and it's not over. He still loves it, and he can't wait to do it after the pandemic if he has a chance. Laura, were you going to add to that too?
I was just going to say it's been sort of the carpet ripped out from under all of these performers, because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. That's their life. So it's like denying them the chance to, whatever it is, like do what we do. They just can't do their work anymore. And hopefully we will get back to a place where our singers can go back out.
All right, we're going to talk to an artist now who does continue to do her work, and and so many people are thankful for that. Her name is Arlinda McIntosh, and she truly is one of the most unique, creative fashion designers around. Her own clothing line, Sophista-Funk, is truly the rare lifestyle brand that actually appeals to women of all ages. Not easy to do.
And folks are going to love her story because it's another one of those where she never set out to do it. She says she never even fashion until she really got into it. Yet her designs have been worn by some of the biggest names there are, starting with P. Diddy and Lauryn Hill, Mary J. Blige, and Queen Latifah. That's a pretty good list right there.
And you know what really gets me about Arlinda is her sales doubled and her reputation just went berserk when she, in her 60s, said, hey, I can be the model. And she turned that camera on herself and she became this incredible Instagram influencer. And she is rocking it, not just with her fashions, but with her being the model of her own art. I love this lady, and she is with us. Arlinda McIntosh is with us live from her home in New Jersey. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, you know, Arlinda, one of the things that I love, well, there's a lot of things I love about your fashion, but one is that you really integrated the history of your family into one of the pieces, which is the gathering skirt. Could you talk about how that came from your family in North Carolina working in the cotton fields?
Well, my mom, I used to watch my mom and her sisters and friends as they worked in the cotton fields. And I particularly remember the dresses that they would wear or skirts that they would wear. I would remember seeing them throughout the day. I'd see them in the fields, then I'd see them in the kitchen, then I'd see them going to the marketplace or what have you. But I used to remember seeing the way the sun would shine on the fabrics as they were picking the cottons, and you know, if the wind blows, the way the wind would take the cotton in it just became like music, you know, to me. It was just beautiful to look at. And watching them use the bottom portion, they would pick up the hem from the bottom of their, you know, the hemline, and they would bring it up to their waist and pin it. I'd watch my mom pin it, and then it would become like a pocket. So of course, during that time, I just was seeing things. I just remember things. So as I grew into this business, I started using the things that I remember to make it be a fashion statement. And the gathering, I named it because that's what I used to always see. They would gather in the cotton fields, or my mom would gather. My mom was a minister in the church. So she would always have gathered people in the house, gathering in the living room for various things. Or, you know, we would always, my mom's house was always full of someone else's children, as mine was, as I grew up and as I became an adult. So it was always about gathering. So I thought, wow, that's a nice name for this skirt with all these little gathers here. And it does so much. So we named it on Instagram. The hashtag is One Skirt, Endless Possibilities, because it's kind of like us, we're one people each, but it's so many possibilities to us all.
You know, it's beautiful. And let's take a look at some of your fashion. Let's just kind of punch through some photos. And if you will, Arlinda, how do you describe what you do? I mean, what are you going for when you create fashion? What separates what you do from others? What's your trademark?
Good question. I didn't set out to try to do anything. I just do what I like. And I showed the gathering skirt because it's our most popular, and we have 5 different lengths, and it does so many things. But I never set out to say, oh, I'm going to do this, and this is my target market and what have you. Actually, when people ask me, I won't say it here. When people ask me, well, who's your target market? I say, well, anyone with a bottom. I want to cover. So I don't say bottom, but you know. So I think that for me, because this wasn't something that I set out to do and I just did it. So she has on 2 gatherings right there. And then there should be one photo where she has on the same jacket. Well, now she has a skirt and then one of our bandana scarves. So the white right there is also a gathering. Her top is gathering as well. So, but it's just about doing things that make me feel good. And I put them out there, and as you said before, every age, every race, every size, body type, it fits. I just don't know limits when it comes to fashion. To me, it's just clothes, you know, it's all just fabric. Just harmless fabric that we do things to, we manipulate it and let it live.
Arlene, you said something in that answer that really struck me, is that you really hadn't intended to do this. And that's kind of the key, isn't it? I mean, we all daydream about maybe creating a product or starting a business or expressing ourselves, but we stop from doing it because we're too scared. What was it that pushed you to say, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot?
Well, I was married at 19 and on the way to divorce by like 20. And as you know, over the years, we finally divorced. But I came home from lunch one day to surprise my husband because he was such a cutie and I wanted to go and surprise him. But he had surprised me. He had left. So I had to get back to work, first of all. So I didn't know what was going on. You know, I tried to reach him. I didn't have a cell phone back then. I tried to reach him via payphone, no answer. So I had to go back to work. I went back to work. And I'll try to make this fast. I went back to work and I think I finished out that day. And then I came home and tried to reach him again, no answer. Finally, I realized, okay, he's gone. We did finally talk. He didn't want to be in anymore. Okay, fine. You don't want to be here. But I have these children and I have something that I have to do. So I didn't think about sewing. I had a job. I was working for a cable company. I didn't know I could sew because that's one thing that you're taught as a little Black girl. You're taught how to use a sewing needle. So, or maybe a little white girl, whoever. I know for me, I was taught how to sew as a little girl. But one of my friends, Kathy, she said to me, Linda, why don't you make us, because I called her to tell her Mike had left, like, what do we do? Well, you know, what am I going to do? I got to get rent. And I only had like 3 weeks. So she said, well, why don't you make us something to wear and we'll pay you? And I'm thinking, make you something to wear? That you can go to the store and get something to wear. I'm not going to make clothes, like make you something. So anyway, I did it. I had about 20, I think I had like $28. I kind of remember that number. And I went to this little cheap little fabric store and I bought denim. So I bought the denim home and I cut it up and I used rocks and I messed it all up and bleached it. And I made 5 dress jumpers. And they came over that Saturday and they bought them. They each paid $25 for each piece. And I made that $125, and of that $125, I took $25 out, and I went back and bought more. I thought, let me go buy more fabric, and I took $5, and I bought 5 rows of pearls, these little cheap dollar pearls. And I said to them, if I do this again next week, could y'all come back and bring people? So they was like, yes. So they came back, and I gave them each a row of pearls, and that $20 that I had made, I took that and went back, got more cheap fabric, and it was an off-price store, so it wasn't cheap. It was just like $1 a yard and what have you. So I made more clothes, and I took money from the other money that I first saved, and I bought Welch's grape juice, the white one, and the white grapes, because you know I had to make my event look cute in my living room. And I started calling it that day Wine and Cheese Fashion Fairs, and I'm like, oh wow, I could really make my rent doing this. But I didn't think past. I only thought I'm doing this in the meantime because maybe he'll be back. So, but then I ended up here.
You know, Arlinda, the thing about you that gets me is that you were in a job that doesn't sound like it was really very creative, but all of a sudden,
I was a receptionist.
You were a receptionist? Yeah. How did you know you had this creativity in you that you could literally make something beautiful out of almost nothing?
You know, when I never thought about it, I just became. Even at when I worked at the company, sometimes I'd be sitting there making sketches, but believe it or not, the sketches were of bugs and trees and limbs, and I write poetry. So that's what I would have to say my creativity was more in poetry or writing and botany, like, well, I know now plants and bugs and, you know, things of that nature. So no, I never thought about it in the way of clothing, you know, take this fabric and make clothes for people to wear. That just happened. I happened to find out that would pay some bills. So I continued to do that.
Folks, we're talking with Arlinda McIntosh, who is just a tremendous success story. She shared with us what really what was a business model, a business plan, and a marketing plan early on. And now, you know, some of the biggest names in entertainment wear her designs. But, you know, we're interested, Arlinda, also in what prompted you to turn the camera on yourself. When did you decide, and were you surprised by the fact that when you began modeling your own clothes, you became an Instagram sensation?
Well, I used to, if you look further down my Instagram page, you'll see a lot of models, tall, skinny, because that's what we were taught that you're supposed to use. And the time would come when it's the middle of the night and I would come up with a design and I want to photograph it on somebody, but either I didn't have the money or I couldn't find a person, because you can't keep using people, you got to pay people. So I couldn't find a person. So I would be out shopping and I might see a woman who is older or a woman who is not a skinny woman. Actually, she may be a fat woman. And I might say, oh my God, I would love to photograph you. Oh my God, I'm too fat. Or, oh my God, I have wrinkles. Or if I find one woman, I'll say, oh, I would love to do a photo shoot with you for my garments. Oh no, I'm too fat. Or it's always I'm too something when they're older. So they would always say, but I have a young daughter and she's tall and she's slim. And I'm like, but I don't want her. I want you. So after a while, you get tired. So one day I got up and I was like, let me try this. I was uncomfortable and I was the one shooting it. So I'm like, oh my God, people are going to think, look at this lady here, whatever. But you have to do what you have to do. So I took the photos, I posted them, and it was like, wow, look how many people like this photo. Wow, that's crazy. So I just continued and it became fun to me. I can tell my story better than anyone. So does that mean that I don't want to photograph other people? Absolutely not. I still would like to photograph. Even this season, I've gathered a lot of families, moms, dads, same-sex couples, tall, short, fat, skinny, men, women, everybody, because that's the show. That's what I want to show for the rest of the season, the rest of his life. I want to show family. I want to show people.
So, Arlinda, let's start to wrap this up. You're also fascinating because here you are, you're in your 60s. I hope you don't mind me saying that because, we're really proud of age and the experience that comes with it. But you've excelled in areas that are traditionally thought to be for young people, right. Fashion and social media, Instagram sensation. So what can you tell us? What's the message? What's the takeaway? What can we learn from your story about moving forward, about empowerment?
Well, if you don't think about limits, you don't think about failure. Like I was never taught failure. I watched my mom. I watched them do what they did with little, which I know now was little and nothing. So I learned to accept what is right here, and what is what is very simple. So if you don't tell yourself I can't, or if you don't set boundaries that you don't even know what could be around that corner, if you don't do that, you can become. I'm not trying to be, one thing I don't like is when people say to me, and you may have, if you didn't hear it, you'll see it. When people say, oh, I love the way that looks on you. It makes you look so young. Why do I have to look young? Why can't I just look here? So I think a lot of it is just acceptance. Accept who you are, where you are, and what you can do, and do not accept failure. Failure comes to the left of me and to the right of me, and everything is always around you that's negative. But I always look, I give them the side eye and say, not today, I don't have time. I gotta finish. I can't have company today. So, and I laugh about a lot of things. I'm gonna say this, and you guys will probably figure, okay, this lady's officially kook. But so I have a denture and I broke it yesterday. I go and see these people. Oh my God, I don't care. Because you know what? Everybody has something. And we've been taught to be embarrassed by things that are so stupid. If you live long enough, you're going to experience something. Wow. Just kind of laugh through it and keep going.
Arlinda, can I thank you for that? Thank you for giving us the courage to be who we are, to wear bright colors, to what we were saying last week, Mark, to fly our freak flag. I mean, yes. What you're doing is incredible, to give us the bravery. I love what you were doing there, layers and tying skirts around you. Who knew we could do that? when you weren't 20 years old.
You can make
Thank
that
you.
happen.
A fashion designer, a philosopher, an inspiration to so many, and we love your T-shirt as well today. She is Arlinda, her fashion brand. She's got a couture brand as well. We're going to put links to all of her stuff on our website in the comments below so that you can follow, stay in touch, learn from it, and perhaps become one of her models that wears her stuff. Wasn't she great, guys?
I love her use of color. It's just happy.
And it's just, again, it's another example of somebody we bring on because of what they've done, but the person themselves is more interesting than their great product because she's real. She's just like us, but she took a chance and one step at a time, and look how it pays off. That's what's amazing about her. Arlinda, thinking about it, she says she had no idea any of her success was ever going to happen. So what did she do? She told us that she made clothes for her friends, and that's what helped her get started. Well, we all need to find friends that encourage us, don't we? To embolden us and to make us do things that we never dreamed of doing. And here is a different kind of example of that in this week's edition of Finding Your Tribe. Well, some people are able to find their tribe by refocusing on the things they've done in the past. But our next guest found hers in something she never even dreamed of doing before. Let's say hi to Cheryl Moran. How are you, Cheryl?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Now, you could have gone and joined a bowling league, a bridge club. What in the world made you think, no, I think dragon boat racing is for me?
I needed to find exercise. I hate to exercise. Never was a go to the gym person. Sort of an athlete in high school, but other commitments and education and family, I wasn't able to pursue any of the dreams outside of basically going to school and go to work. And I saw all these people out in this big long boat, and they were gliding across the water. And I thought, wait a minute, that's exercise. And if I do that, I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to go to any kind of classes, physical classes. I can go do that, and that'll be fun, and it won't even seem like exercising.
This has impacted your life in many ways. Tell us where dragon boating has taken you.
Dragon boating, first of all, it made me a much healthier person. Blood pressure better, cholesterol better, every aspect of my health is better. The friendships that I have forged has been mentally better for me. The teamwork, the adrenaline rushes you get when you win a race. Those are the intrinsic things that it has done for me. However, physically, it's taken me to Italy to paddle in an international race, New Jersey, Boston, Canada, Puerto Rico. And in a sense, I found my tribe because my tribe became my family because we all have that mutual goal in common that we want to race, we want to work hard. And in dragon boating, you can be a recreational paddler, or you can be on an all-women's team, or you can be, we actually have a team that's all age 70 or older. And they are one of the first teams in the world to compete at this age level.
Well, so, you've really found the key, and I think the key is not being afraid to try and to put yourself out there and to take a chance on activities that kind of interest you to see what happens. Cheryl Moran, what a great story. She found her tribe with 2 oars and a whole bunch of vibrant and active friends to help her along the way. Where will you find yours? And guys, there again with Arlinda, just like with Arlinda, it wasn't some lifelong dream that Cheryl had, but there was an opportunity that interested her. And she might not have liked it, but she did it, and it completely brightened her life.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And, we hope you guys consider yourselves to be part of our tribe. And as such, we've got a couple of invitations for you. First of all, we want to invite you to something that we know will be a very entertaining and candidly, probably slightly provocative event on Thursday, August 20th. Our speaker for this month's Growing Bolder Presents is John Moe. He is the critically acclaimed public radio personality, creator of a popular podcast, and he's the author of a new book that's called The Hilarious World of Depression. For years, John struggled with depression. It plagued his family. In fact, it claimed the life of his brother. He began talking about his illness with others, and along the way, he discovered similar behavior patterns and found a community of comfort. And he shares what he's learned, including the power of humor, in our next event, which is presented in partnership with the Writer's Block Bookstore and the Center for Health and Well-Being. As always, folks, GB Presents events are free, but you have to register. We'll put a registration link in the comments below, and we hope to see you there. And before we leave that, it's not the only invitation that we have for you today. We've been working very hard on a new online summit for caregivers. And before you say that's not me, you are wrong, because we are all caregivers. We're a nation of caregivers. The stats say that there are over 60 million unpaid caregivers in the U.S., but we think it's a lot more. In fact, we say that everyone is a caregiver. If you wear a mask, you're a caregiver. If you make lunch for your child, you are a caregiver. If you give your mother a call, you are a caregiver. You're experiencing care. So we're determined to change the narrative around caregiving pretty much the same way we're attempting to do it with aging in general. We're not ignoring that caregiving can be very difficult. It can be frustrating. If you don't get the help and support you need, it can be devastating to your health and your finances, but it also is an opportunity. It's one of life's greatest blessings, and that's the message that we want to share. And here's a taste of what we're talking about.
At this moment across America, there are more than 50 million unpaid caregivers with compassionate hearts and capable hands, doing their best for their parents, their neighbors, their grandparents, their wives, and their husbands. Thanks to our friends at Florida Blue Medicare, Growing Bolder and Archangels are working together to fundamentally change how caregivers are seen, celebrated, and supported. Yes, there are bad days. The challenges are real. But for all of us, the caregivers and the people who will be caregivers, August 27th represents an opportunity to join together with thousands like you, to learn and laugh with us as we deliver a caregiving message unlike any you've ever heard. Life is not just about being alive, it's about feeling alive. It's about the easy choice to shift our focus from limitation and loss to passion and possibility. The challenges are real, but so are the rewards. Join us for the art of caregiving as Growing Bolder and Archangels get real. Real people, real connection, real stories. You can register at no cost thanks to Florida Blue Medicare. Visit growingbolder.com/caregiving summit.
We'll put all the information below. This is something we are really, really proud of. We are determined to create a culture of care throughout this country. And, there's nothing I like more, guys, than putting Mike Nannis on the spot. Mike is kind of punching this show from his little office. Mikey, put yourself up there, because Mike has been editing a lot of these interviews. Give us a quick response. Give us your reaction. Give us a review. Is this going to be worthwhile?
Absolutely. I mean, from an editor's perspective, being involved in piecing it together, I try and look at it objectively, but it's touched me on a much personal level as well. So I find myself fully engrossed in this project, and it's going to be something worth watching for sure.
One of the reasons we love working with Mike Nannis. I mean, the guy will get in to what we're doing, and he makes everything better by that. And Laura, I know you're a caregiver. Bill, you are a caregiver. We say we're all caregivers. You call your mom and your dad. You're experiencing care. We're all involved in this project. So thank you guys, and we want everybody to join us on August 27th.
Mark, you hit the nail on the head. All of us. This affects everybody. We all want to be there for somebody if we can, right? This is about humanity. This is a great conversation that nobody else is having. Folks, give this a shot. Take a look. You'll be surprised, and it'll open things up for you and your families.
You know, what was really hitting me while we were looking at that fantastic promo is the images of people hugging each other. And I realized, wow, we missed that. We haven't been doing that lately because of what's going on. And that ties into our meme that we have this week. We never expected what was going to be happening now. Time goes by so fast. Never miss an opportunity to tell those you care about how much they mean to you. Now we need to use our words more than we can use holding hands or a hug. And there are some people we might not even have the chance to see again. And I hope that's not the case. This meme really hit me this morning because right before we went on the air, guys, I got a text from my uncle who said, please, can you call me? Because I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. And I want to make sure you know how to find me. Wow. So of course I will be calling him right away. But on a much lighter note, I want to take this moment to tell you two, I am so happy to be part of your tribe. You guys have made my life very happy.
Very nice to say, and I appreciate that. And that is something we should all do, express our appreciation. In fact, I see Arlinda hanging around backstage. Mike, let's pull Arlinda back in and thank her for spending some time with us. Arlinda.
Thank you, Arlinda.
We love you as well. And let me wrap it up by saying what's on my mind is that. On my mind today is love, because it really makes no difference what the question is. Love is the answer. It is always the answer. Love is the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. It's never been knocked down and it's never been knocked out. And love is always the way forward. It's always the path through. And if you ask through what, it doesn't make any difference. The path through everything. And it doesn't have to be the romantic kind of love, close friendships, familial love. Any of that kind of love is as powerful. In fact, researchers have shown unequivocally that love raises our immunity. It lowers our blood pressure. It reduces stress. It reduces depression. So, love is something that, we should always try to pursue, because research also shows us, hospice and palliative workers, nurses will tell us that, the last two questions that people ask when they're on their deathbeds are, was I loved and did I love? So in other words, love truly is the key to happiness. So don't ever make the mistake of saying, I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when I achieve this success, because you won't. Success is not the key to happiness. Love is the key to happiness. And we already have everything we need. And that is the ability to love and to be loved. So have a great weekend, folks. And, to Laura's point, call somebody this weekend and tell them you love them. Good.